Well, it's 22 hours GMT in Accra, Ghana, and 13 hours in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, wherever you're watching us from. This is News at 10. First, let's take a look at the major news highlights of the day. The police service has arrested the man suspected to have pulled the trigger that killed the late Chief Inspector Emmanuel Aselevi during the dawn raid at the Kwabenya police station. 4 others were also arrested. The minority in Parliament wants the President to reduce his foreign trips until the Vice President returns from his medical leave. This follows the swearing-in of the Speaker, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, as President for the second time in a week. And the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has launched a large-scale toilet construction project for the Greater Accra metropolitan area. The ministry seeks to construct an estimated 19,500 household toilets under the project. And elsewhere, unidentified gunmen on Saturday killed at least 14 soldiers in central Mali, an area targeted by a growing wave of attacks by Islamist militants. The military camp in the town of Sumpi, near the southern boundary at Mali's Timbuktu region, came under attack. And Saudi Arabian billionaire Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, one of the kingdom's top international businessmen, was released from detention on Saturday, more than 2 months after he was taken into custody. Those were our major news highlights. Remember, we're streaming live on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. Up next is a big one. Welcome back. Now, the police has arrested the man suspected to have pulled the trigger that killed the late Chief Inspector Emmanuel Aselevi during the dawn raid at the Kwabenya police station. 4 others were also arrested in the operation. The suspected killer was arrested at Kaswa in the central region on Saturday, January 27.
The suspected cop killer, 28-year-old Kofi Seshi, and his accomplices were arrested by the Accra Regional Police Command at Kaswa in the early hours of Saturday, January 27. The other accomplices are 23-year-old George Saba, George Asante, 33, Theophilus Banda, 25, and Elvis Owusu, 31. This brings to 9 the number of persons so far arrested. On Friday, January 26, the police announced the arrest of 4 persons in connection with the murder of the Chief Inspector. Those arrested included 2 each of the escapees and those who carried out the attack on the police station. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Pietu, at a media briefing also announced a 15,000 cedis reward for anyone who will assist the police in apprehending the perpetrators of the heinous crime on Sunday, January 21.
The Director General of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Ekulu, earlier spoke with my colleague Isamoni on News 360.
We have arrested 4 persons in Kaswa in the early hours of the yesterday, this morning. And among those arrested is one Seshi who has been identified, and information revealed that is the one who shot and killed the police inspector on the 21st of this month, that Sunday at Kwabenya.
You already know him as somebody who has been committing crimes, or it was this event at Kwabenya police station which brought him to the fore?
Yes, the information we have is that he's noted in that area as a very notorious criminal, and and he was mentioned but he was mentioned by those that we had already arrested who are in custody as the one who actually did the crime. And when we moved in, he was arrested in a place that the community identified as a noted criminal den, where criminals they use as a safe haven to commit crimes. So we have all the links to show that yes, he has that criminal record, and that he was the one who shot and killed the inspector.
How sure are you that he is involved in this? Was it because his name was mentioned?
apart from that, we also have other information that we'll put at the appropriate time to prove that he's the one who shot and killed the inspector.
How about the forwarders? What have they done in connection with the death of the police officer?
Yeah, they were arrested based on information, and we also have information that they are also involved in some crimes that have been committed in Accra and Kasoa in the past. So we are putting all together to make sure that we get the right evidence to put them before court.
And 5 police officers have been killed in line of duty between January 1 and 21 this year. My colleague Peter Kwadato takes a look at the worrying trend in the following report.
The country is getting increasingly worried over the spate of targeted killing of security personnel. Public concerns heightened following the record killings of 5 police personnel within the first 3 weeks of the new year. 2 of the incidents occurred in the Ashanti region, with 1 each in the Greater Accra, Central and Western regions. First was the death of an inspector and a constable at Dobonso in the Sechra Front Plains of the Ashanti region. The 2 died protecting the public from criminal elements. Another policeman was also shot dead at a 9 checkpoint duty in the Central region just about the same time. The 4th incident happened in the Western region, where a policeman who was attempting to save the life of another person also died in a fatal accident. The Sunday dawn killing of Inspector Emmanuel Selevi at the Kwabenya police station brought to 5 the number of policemen lost within the first 3 weeks of this year. Already, this number is half of similar deaths recorded by the police in 2017. 5 of those deaths occurred through adversarial or combative action, with the rest not through combative action. Aside the 5 deaths recorded in the first 3 weeks of this year was the ambushing of the 3 military men and a police officer at Agogo a few days ago. This was a clear indication that the military is not left out in the growing attack on security men. The Public Affairs Directorate of the Ghana Armed Forces admitted they are a target but declined to give details for fear of causing fear and panic among the personnel.
Right, let's get onto the telephone lines and do some analysis over this. Security analyst Adib Sani is on the line. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much. I'm sure you're wondering, I beg your pardon, whether the strides made by the police this week is an indication that they're actually sharpening up their operation. Is that how you see it?
Well, a very good evening to your viewers. Obviously, when like this comes up, there's so much public outcry, there's so much focus on it. It's given credence on social media, and you have the political elites, everybody talking about it. We've had the tendency of the police giving it some special attention, because we have similar, vicious crimes happening all across the country on daily basis. And to date, many people or victims are yet to find closure.
So, Ms. Adib, let's get it clear. So, what you're suggesting that the police is putting in that much effort within the week because it is under pressure from public scrutiny and the media and politicians and all of that?
Obviously so. Like I indicated, there are a number of examples that can be cited concerning people who have been victimized in one way or the other as a result of criminal activities against them all across the country. And many are yet to, as it were, to be concluded. And so, for me, this has been a trend for far too long. It's been very consistent for years on end. We tend to give so much attention to issues that have some level of media, social media prominence. But that notwithstanding, it is still a good thing for the police to have made all those arrests. This audacious, daring criminal activity. But for me, it's only my hope and prayers that this is replicated all across the country with any other, murder or similar, criminal activity perpetrated against the citizens of Ghana. Because we are talking about engendering the relationship between the people and the police service, and based on mutual trust and respect. And that can only happen when the people have confidence and trust in the police service to deliver. Because for me, I've told you always that I've spoken with a number of people who have issues that is supposed to be, reported to the police, but they don't have the motivation or the impetus to go to the police because they cannot trust the police to deliver. Okay, and I have a number of people who also want to give critical intelligence or information to the police on, very important cases, but they don't trust that their privacy would be protected. They don't trust that they would fall under the witness protection regime, and they don't trust that the information given to the police would be followed up to the latter, proper investigations done, and the prosecution followed. So for me, one of the most central, issues that the police would have to focus to engender that relationship between themselves and the people, because without the people, they cannot do their work. They cannot get the intelligence they need, because these criminal elements live in these communities, okay, and they know them. I mean, people know them. But what would make someone go and give the police information about them? So for me, it is very important, in as much as we're concerned about the attention and the credence we give to national or notorious cases like this, we should also equally replicate it with all other
Mr. Sani Adib, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much. Sani Adib is a security analyst, and I'm Stephen Enti. This is still News at 10. We have more news for you. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Now, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has launched a large-scale toilet construction project for the Greater Accra metropolitan area, Gama. The ministry seeks to construct an estimated 19,500 household toilets under the project in a bid to end open defecation.
The $150 million Greater Accra metropolitan area Gama Sanitation and Water Project is funded by the World Bank with the collaboration of the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources to help low-income level communities have access to affordable toilet and water facilities. Though the project, which took off some 3 years ago, has successfully constructed over 2,000 household toilets, it has had its own challenges. This includes a pricing challenge as well as lack of financial capacity on the part of some contractors who were engaged. In a bid to do away with the bottlenecks in order to ensure the success of the project, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has launched the Gama Large-Scale Toilet Construction Project. The construction has now been awarded to contractors who have the materials and funds readily available and can as well construct on a large scale. The Deputy Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Michael Jatto, reiterated government commitment to ridding the capital of filth as well as ending open defecation.
An estimated 19,500 household toilets will be constructed in the Gama area under the Gama Sanitation and Water Project. The ministry has mobilized large-scale toilet suppliers to facilitate the speedy construction of this facility. Furthermore, financing options are being arranged with selected financial institutions to provide loans to interested households. The ministry has successfully rolled out the mobile money payment platform where beneficiaries can contribute gradually towards the construction of a toilet.
Project coordinator for the Gama project, Engineer Georgia Sedu, was optimistic the project would change the country's rating in open defecation by 2020.
By the end of this project, open defecation to a large extent, apart from what the project will deliver, a lot of awareness has been created, and even the individuals on their own are trying to change the way they live. So first of all, most people are going to go for their own toilets. They're going to go for their own toilets, and open defecation should be a thing of the past.
The Deputy Sanitation and Water Resources Minister and other officials visited the homes of some beneficiaries at Malam in the Gassouth municipality. Some beneficiaries lauded government for the project, adding it has reduced the inconvenience they go through when visiting public toilets.
Our
kids especially had a difficult time using the public toilet, so they resorted to the use of polythene bags. But now, it is better as we have our own toilets. A resident of Malam expressed worry over the practice of open defecation in the area.
Why? Because there's no toilet in this area. Just check the main road gutter. A gutter here. A lot of toilet in Politan. So whenever they come to say, you can't walk around that place because the whole area is scented.
Household will have to pay 1,100 Ghana cedis for a complete facility, with those having existing structures paying 600 and 500 cedis for a biodigester.
And a report from international NGO WaterAid ranked Ghana among the 10 top countries worldwide with the highest percentage of its population without decent toilets. Let's engage Crunchy Adamatete, who is a behavior change communication specialist for the Accra Metropolitan Area Gama Sanitation Water Project. Nice to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
So why do people still defecate in the open?
So many factors have been attributed to that habit.
Poverty?
Poverty might be mentioned, but it is not only poverty alone. It is basically mentality towards toilets. If we understand the consequences of open defecation, meaning that we are putting toilets in the open so that we can eat them later, then I think it will change our
That's right.
our attitude towards open defecation, because anytime you do open defecation, you are exposing the fecal matter to the environment, and the flies can just go on these fecal matter.
And so they just come back to
they
our
come
food
back to
anyway.
your food. They can be on your lip. They can be on your anywhere, and then the fecal matter goes back into your mouth. So if that is understood by everybody, then we'll be more cautious the way we dispose of.
So let's understand. I mean, before we discuss the Gamma project, sanitation project targeting 19,500 household toilets, what will it take to change people's mentality and attitude towards open defecation?
It has to take two main approaches. We need to make people understand the dangers, the health implications of doing open defecation, and then we also need to enforce our bylaws. Because if you educate people and then you make them know the consequences of open defecation, they are likely to stop. If they don't stop, then you need to crack the whip. You need to enforce the law. In addition to all this, you also need to be very innovative about the facilities that you make available. Because if a person cannot really afford the toilet and there's no option for the person to get the toilet, then he has no option to get the toilet.
Open.
So what the project has sought to do is
but no, before you tell me what the project seeks to do you think it's possible to end open defecation in Ghana?
It is possible.
It is possible.
Yeah, because if we say, is it possible to end it tomorrow, then you say, it is not possible.
But we need time.
Yeah, we need time.
So now let's talk about the project. 19,500 households are targeted. Toilets are targeted. This is only in Greater Accra.
Yes.
Is this going to make its way to other parts of the country?
Yes, depending on how successful this is rolled out. But even then, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources is not only based in Greater Accra, it is for the nation. So aside the 19,500 toilets, the ministry has also targeted to provide 200,000 toilets within this year.
And that is also coming at a cost, or that will be free? Outside the 19,500?
Yeah, it is not free, but we have worked with companies to design very affordable toilets that you can even get a toilet in a rural area for 300 Ghana cedis. And we are also engaging the private sector so that they can collaborate with the Ministry of Sanitation.
Who qualifies?
Yeah, I mean, everybody qualifies. You know, once you don't have the toilet, you qualify. So that is the kind of...
So if you don't live in Gama, Greater Accra metropolitan area, and you live in Kaswa, for example, you don't qualify?
For now, for our project, for the Gama project, you don't qualify. But for the other toilets that are available,
you could qualify.
Like the what they call the affordable toilets that have been the Digni Lu. These toilets are as low as 300 Ghana cedis. Okay. So even if you don't live within the Gama area, you could still reach out to these toilets to end open defecation.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adama Tete. Kranchi Adama Tete is a behavior change communication specialist at the Accra Metropolitan Area Gama Sanitation and Water Project. And I'm Stephen Enti. Fresh images of Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and his wife Samira have emerged on social media, with the two taking a stroll on the streets of London. The Vice President has been on medical leave in the United Kingdom for the past 1 week.
The images which surfaced early Saturday morning show Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia walking with his wife Samira and responding to pleasantries from some Ghanaians on the streets of London.
Christian or something.
The video, which portrays a buoyant Bawumia, appears to be a direct response to rumors that made rounds on social media earlier that he had suffered stroke. Earlier this morning, Information Minister Mustafa Hamid had revealed that he had a conversation with Dr. Bawumia, whom he said was doing very well and will be back home very soon.
Meanwhile, a political communications expert, Dr. Mesan Maugbe, says the circulation of the video on social media only adds to the speculation.
When you look at the video that we're looking at now, I must say that this video hasn't got any official underpinnings, because before His Excellency the Vice President was flown out of the country, a press release was issued. So I think every political communication should have an opening and a closure. We cannot use this video as a closure because we don't know even where it's coming from. And I don't think the presidency would like to communicate about the health of His Excellency the Vice President through a video, because we were not given a video from the beginning as the opening part of the political communication or the conversation. So we cannot use this. But then one can also say that it's rather been adding to the rumor. And I think that is why you and I and the viewers and the listeners, we are discussing this, because of the political communication gap that has been created.
We'll actually wish him a very speedy recovery, and it's nice to see him bubbly there. Now, to some other stories. The minority in Parliament wants the President to reduce his foreign trips until the Vice President returns from his medical leave. This follows the swearing in of the Speaker, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, as President for the second time this week.
I further solemnly swear
that should I at any time break this oath of office,
that should I at any time break this oath of office,
the Speaker of Parliament took the presidential oath as well as the oath of allegiance as administered by the Chief Justice in accordance with Article 60, 11 and 12.
And suffer the penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
This makes it twice in this week. The Speaker was sworn in as President last Sunday when the President travelled to Liberia.
Must the Speaker of Parliament repeat the oath of allegiance? My position is Section 3 of the Oath Act of 1972 is against the repetition of oaths. And just within the span of less than 10-14 days, the same Speaker of Parliament, who swore an earlier oath of allegiance, swore one just a few days ago is being made to swear another oath of allegiance. In my view, that is legally needless.
Article 68 reads, whenever the president is absent from Ghana or is for any other reason unable to perform the functions, which means that absence from Ghana is construed to be one of the inabilities to perform functions. So we cannot disconnect A from B. That's because this is the Queen's language. And those of them with proficiency in the Queen's language should be able to teach those of them with some inability in the Queen's language.
According to a Supreme Court ruling in 2015, the Speaker is obliged to take the oath of office as President whenever both the President and his Vice are out of the jurisdiction. The minority is now calling for the President to reduce his international travels under the circumstance.
Given the situation surrounding the health of the Vice President, we are of the humble opinion that the President could have detailed Minister for Foreign Affairs and other high-ranking government officials to represent him, one at the funeral and also at the AU summit. He ought not to jet off to a funeral and jet off to the AU summit.
They want the Constitution to be clear on the duties of the acting president.
It's also a matter that is engaging the public debate as to whether or not, when a speaker has been sworn in, or when the situation arises, the Chief Justice is sworn in as an acting president, whether she can or he can function, take all executive decisions, including hiring and firing, including mobilizing an army. And these are also matters we must also debate.
A legal practitioner and MP for Gomoa West does not see this as an issue.
Just for purposes of maybe emergencies and all that, if we see that there is some kind of aggression on Ghana, who is going to lead the charge, who is going to give the command and all that? I believe short of that, the position will just be ceremonial, caretaker.
And that's it for News at 10. On behalf of the crew here, good night. Enjoy your weekend.